What's up? It's Limestand. Welcome to my Photoshop and Virtual Rig Studio video. A quick tutorial on how I post process my photos and how I use Virtual Rig Studio. So check it out. We're gonna do this photo of Andy Tran's S2K. This is the final version. So let's start. Let's go to Photoshop. Whoa, whoa, that's not Photoshop. Oh man. Okay. Just kidding. Oh, okay. All right, all right. So here is Andy Tran's S2K. Very cool. Let's do a quick comparison from before and after. So here's the before. This is the after. Bam! Virtual rig with the sun flare. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. So here's your start image. So just a few things. Like before I do photo shoots, I usually I have a place picked out, so I just don't go anywhere. It usually depends on the car. So this is a dark car. This was like during the day, so I didn't want it to be too much light because usually when you have a dark car and everything's too bright, it just looks like a dark car and white stuff. So I wanted to pick an area which was kind of like a little colorful, so the black would pop out. So I chose this little expressway that's shielded from the sun, so I can get some nice shade so I could do whatever to the photo and stuff like that. So this is like Central Expressway in Santa Clara. Yeah, there's hardly any people on the road. So this is handheld. I do rolling shots. I just hold it outside the door of the window of the car, and it's like 1 inch from the ground. Um, I tried. Everyone's telling me, "Oh, you should make a rig, or you should make like a tripod, stick it out, do a remote." Yeah, I've tried all that stuff. That stuff is just not safe, and it's just difficult. So, I mean, I don't. I used to even, put the strap around my arm so my camera won't fall. But in reality, if it does fall, it's gonna break anyway, even if you put on a tripod or even if you put it around your wrist. A lot of times the strap would get in the way of the camera, and that was really annoying. So I just use it without a strap, just straight up camera. And I usually hold the body and the lens at the same time. So if something happens, I have two hands to hold on to my camera. So usually I use the settings. My settings are usually like I use shutter priority, which is TV on Canons, and S on Nikon. I think that's for sucks, but yeah, no, it does. It's S mode, and for traditional rolling shot, so a very conservative one would be like a shutter speed 60. If you want to be really aggressive, 25 to 30, but your shots will probably be like one shot out of five will probably be focused. My hands aren't very still, so that's how it is. If you go down lower, like 10 to 15, 1 to 10, 1 out of 10 will probably be in focus. But, if you have the time, whatever, do it. Looks cool. Um, so here is Andy's S2K. I shot it at 30 shutter speed TV. Okay. So the first thing I usually do is I look at the picture and see what's distracting. What annoys me, I'm very like I need stuff to be level or somewhat like proportioned. So this little thing is really annoying me. Like this street right here is very level, but that isn't. So what usually I'll do is I'll take the ruler and I will level it. You can use that to you vertical as well. So I'll just level it. Boom. Cool. Looks better than me. So the next thing I do is I work on the car first before I work on the whole scene. So see how the rear is really, really dark because of the color. So what I'll usually do is I'll duplicate the picture and I'll use curves. And what's cool is like a lot of people use the points here. I just use this little hand thing that you can choose any part of the picture and you go up and down for lighter, down for darker. So shoot. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go under the rear, brighten it up a little bit like that so I can see what's going on down there. And then you mask it out. So what I'll do is I'll do opacity, maybe 22, and I'll mask it out. So like that. So it brings out the rear, right? So you can see a little more of the rear. Like if you have a rear tow hook, rear control arms, stuff like that you want to show off. Exhaust, stuff like that. You want to bring it out a little. Okay, cool. That's cool for me. So next thing I do, I make the car pop. Bam. So I use like contrast, sharpening, whatever, levels. That's what I use. So now I'm looking at it. Oh, it looks good, but it's kind of boring. Look at all this wasted space. To me, it's wasted. So what I'll do is I'll do some vignetting. See? So I do some vignetting so it spotlights the car. Cool. And then next, I'll probably do some contrast because I love contrast. So I'll contrast the road and around the car. I won't mess with the car. And then next is I'll contrast white. I don't think you can really contrast white, but that's what I call it. I just contrast white. See the difference? Alright, cool. Next is the sky. So what I'll do, the sky. So what I usually do is take the original photo and I do an underexposed version, and then so I can bring out the clouds, and then I put a photo filter over it, and then I do mess with the opacity to blend it in. That's how I did it. I chose pink because that's what our skies look like lately when it sunsets. So, but notice here how like the transition from here to here to here to here is pretty like uneven, not very seamless, looks pretty fake. So what I'll do is I'll cross process the whole photo, so kind of like edits the whole thing all together. Looks kind of cool. And I'll usually do it one more time, and then it's a good picture. I'd probably be done with it, but since we're doing a virtual rig photo, I gotta do virtual rig it. So here we go, virtual rig now. Pew! Damn, that's it. Virtual rig, no. Virtual rig, no. Virtual rig, okay, whatever. That's cool. So now I'm gonna show you how to virtual rig. Open the program, bam. So when you guys get the program, I'm gonna put the link in the description. Hopefully it lasts for a while. They tend to not work after a while, so it took me a long time to find a good working one. So it's in the description, so check it out. So I'm not gonna explain what everything does because you can do that yourself. I'm just gonna show you how I use virtual rig. So first of all, you gotta understand how rolling shots and vectors work, so that would help. So I use these. I just usually use this option, which creates blurs. So what I usually do is find a starting reference point, usually where the car is going or where the car is coming from, and I make a line or vector or whatever. I'm not really technical, whatever. And I usually keep this pivot point, this reference point, off the frame. So this little thing here controls where the blur starts. So you can start from here, or you can have it already been starting from here all the way here or whatever. Usually the farthest point from the car is less blurred, so that's what I'm going to do. And what's important is not to put your vector line or your line on the even with this line, because when it blurs it, it's going to distort it. It probably won't be straight anymore. So I'll put some more vector lines, one right here, one right here. Make sure these are kind of even all the time. One right here. Maybe, with the lines and stuff like that. If you don't have lines, you just still have to understand how it works. People say 45 degrees. Usually it is, but whatever. And horizon line. And then maybe that, just for fun. Alright, cool. Alrighty, now we're ready to render it. So pick your type, JPEG, preview only, so it's a smaller file. Now render. Bam! That's pretty cool. Looks like a rig shot. Actually, that's pretty good. But I don't want a rig shot. I want to make it look like it's kind of real, but more motion. So I'll go over here, project settings, mess with the speed coefficient. It's usually at 1. Let's try 0.5. Now render the preview. Bam! Yeah, that looks more realistic or less crazy. So now we're going to do a full render. Bam. Okay, we're not gonna really render it. Okay, because that's gonna take forever. My computer's hella slow. So, bam. Rendered already. Okay, let's say rendered already. Bam. Okay. So what you're gonna do? It's gonna render it as a JPEG or whatever you save it as. So bring it back into Photoshop, and what I'll do is I'll paste so it goes over. Notice how when you blur it, it kind of stretches out the car, right? So this is what I usually do. Stretches out the car. So first we'll do one section. I'm not going to do this perfect because I don't have time, but I'll do like a general. So create a layer, mask. What I'll do is, okay, here. See how I'm blurring it, blurring it, blurring it, blurring it. Okay, I'm not going to do it perfect because I'm not trying to do all that. Okay. Okay, so if you go like that, the wheel's going to be crazy, right? So I usually don't do that. Oh, shoot. I keep on doing that. Get pretty close to where it blurs, right? And then what I'll do is I'll paste it again. Paste the photo again. And then I'll mess the opacity and I will bring it back. So it's going to cut your picture short, you know, but you want it to be as more realistic as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. And then mask that baby. And then bam. So you're going to have to blend it somehow. This is how I cheat. So see? There you go. Bam. A quick bam. Okay. Whatever. I'm doing it like loosely. Then you're usually supposed to crop it, right? Crop it. Like that. Crop it like that. Bam. Like it never happened, right? So sometimes if you know you're going to do this, maybe shoot wide, a little wide, so you not so tight. So basically that's how I use it. Traditionally, you're supposed to take a picture with the car there, and then like still, and then drive the car out of frame, and then take a picture of the background, and then virtual rig. It's much easier in Photoshop, but I use it to assist my Photoshop, and my rolling shots. So that's how I do it. So here's virtual rig, and what would my picture be without some sun flares? So sun flares, okay. Bam, bam. Okay. That's my sunflower? What? Okay, people always ask me, how do you do the sunflower? Alright, I'm not going to tell you guys because it's a secret, but I know there are a lot of people out there know how I do it, but we got to keep some stuff under wraps or everyone's going to know how to do it. So, I got to keep that under wraps, but that's pretty much how I use Photoshop and Virtual Rig. Hope that helps, and comment and subscribe. Just kidding, no. You don't have to do it. I really don't care. But hopefully this helps you. And if you have any questions, just message me on Facebook. And let's see that virtual rig shot, yo. Okay. We're done. Later.